To know your enemy, you must become your enemy. Sun Tzu, Art of War. Great. What good is that? Well, I suppose it's helpful if we've got an identified adversary and we need to learn how our opponent thinks and strategizes. We need to get in their head, for the lack of a better term. What happens, though, if our adversary or our enemy isn't a single entity or a group or even an easily segregated ideology? We've got plenty of those these days and pretty easy to want to go on the attack. I mean, after all, we're right, aren't we? Whomever we are and whatever we believe, of course we are. Well, I don't know about you, friend, but I don't think I've ever met anyone who considered me an enemy that wanted to become me. I suppose it would be flattering at some level, and as the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. Maybe there's more to it. Well, there's almost certainly more to it. But let's back up a step. Retreat, if you will, with me for a moment and listen to what Voltaire has to say. Perfect is the enemy of the good. It's a quote usually attributed to him, though the original draft had him writing that best is the enemy of the good, and I guess it came across in the English translation as perfect. So we don't want to let the perfect, or presumably the pursuit of perfection, be the enemy of good, do we? Now, if we're talking about a hammer or something, I suppose I'm on board with you. But I'm not getting on board your good airplane or expecting the surgeon repairing an artery to say, well, it ain't perfect, but go ahead and close Bob up. He should be good. Easy enough, right? We can have different standards for different things. What about our own satisfaction with ourselves? I could sit here and say, well, I can't be perfect, but I'm good. Yep, I'm pretty good. I'll never achieve perfection, so I'm just going to settle for good. If only it were that easy. See, our choices aren't limited to good and perfect. Oh, no, friend. We've got the concept of greatness to contend with as well. Something of a middle ground between the mediocrity of goodness and the unachievable goal of perfection. There's this ever elusive sweet spot of greatness. And here we find another perfectly good enemy. Yes, as much as the perfect can be the enemy of the good, we can further assert that good can be the enemy of great. So saith Jim Collins, business writing about why we have so little that becomes truly great. Jim tells us, good is the enemy of great, and that's one of the key reasons why we have so little that becomes great. We don't have great schools, principally because we have good schools. We don't have great government, principally because we have good government, arguably. Few people attain great lives, in large part because it's just so easy to settle for a good life. Damn it, Jim. I'm a doctor, not a sociologist. Actually, I'm probably more of a sociologist than a doctor, but who's counting? Let's see where we stand. The perfect is the enemy of the good. The good is the enemy of the great. Does that mean that the perfect is also the enemy of the great, or is the enemy of my enemy my friend? Should one ask, how do I cope with a well-ordered enemy host about to attack me? I reply, seize something he cherishes, and it will conform to your desires. Sun Tzu. He's back with us again. And in this case, he's telling us that the enemy will conform to our desires if we seize something he cherishes. Well, it might be helpful, I guess, if we know what perfect, good, and great cherish in their own rights. I mean, that's us being who we are and doing what we do, right? Right or wrong, I suppose. We've already asserted that I'm not perfect, and I'm guessing neither are you. So, if we're giving up the pursuit of perfection to be good, are we sacrificing greatness along the way? I'd have you consider that great is the enemy of the perfect and the good. That's right. Greatness is surrounded by enemies and constantly under assault. So, what are we to do? Let's go back to Sun Tzu, as he'd also tell us that the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Seems like a good way to win. And that victorious warriors win first, then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. I take that to mean our greatness lies within. You and I choose whether to win first or fight first. And by that choice, we either approach life from a position of weakness and defeat or with an attitude of purpose, knowing that through our strength we can achieve greatness and claim victory before the fight even begins. You got my take. What say you?